Chosen one, if you're hearing my voice right now, this is the answer to the prayer you whispered last night in the darkness. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to reveal the 7 signs that prove your suffering was never random, and the 3 ancient weapons already inside you that will finally break every chain holding you back. But here's the twist nobody prepared you for. The real chosen ones don't feel special. They feel cursed, broken, abandoned by the very God who marked them. I know you're exhausted from pretending you're okay. I know you've lost people, opportunities, and pieces of yourself you'll never get back. I know you've asked, "Why me?" 1,000 times with no answer. Until now. If this message was meant for you, you'll feel it in your chest right now. Comment 999 as your sacred confirmation. Subscribe, because heaven isn't finished speaking through this channel. Everything you've endured is about to make perfect sense. Stay with me. 7 brutal signs you're actually chosen and why your suffering was never random. Let me ask you something, and I want you to be completely honest with yourself. Have you ever felt like life has been unreasonably harder for you than everyone else? Like you're carrying a weight nobody can see, fighting battles nobody understands? If you just nodded, even slightly, then what I'm about to share will change everything. You see, there are 7 unmistakable signs that mark the chosen ones. And here's what most spiritual teachers won't tell you. These signs don't feel like blessings. They feel like curses. They feel like punishment, until you understand what they actually mean. Now, as we go through these, I want you to count in your head how many resonate with you. And at the end, I'm going to ask you to do something that will activate a shift in your spirit. Fair enough? Let's dive in. Sign number 1 is what I call the dark tetrad. This is when you experience 4 devastating losses almost simultaneously. Extreme loss like death or divorce, betrayal by someone you trusted completely, an unexplainable health crisis, and complete isolation even when you're surrounded by people. Let me tell you about Sarah. She's a 52-year-old woman from Ohio who wrote to me in 2019. Within 18 months, Sarah lost her husband to cancer, watched her business collapse, had her daughter stop speaking to her over a misunderstanding, and was diagnosed with lupus, a disease her doctors said was triggered by stress. Sarah told me through tears, "I felt like God hated me. I felt like I was being punished for something I couldn't remember doing." But here's the truth that Sarah discovered, and I need you to hear this. This wasn't punishment. This was purification. Think about it this way. If you were chosen to carry out an extraordinary mission, something that would impact not just your life, but the lives of hundreds or thousands of others, would you send someone ordinary? Would you send someone who'd never been tested, never been broken down and rebuilt, never learned what they're truly made of? Of course not. Remember Job in the Bible? He lost his children, his wealth, his health, and his reputation, everything that defined him, all at once. But after he endured, he became the example of faith that has lasted 3,000 years. His story outlived kingdoms and empires. Here's the mistake most people make. They look at the dark tetrad and say, "This proves I'm cursed. This proves God has forgotten me." And that's exactly when they quit, right before their breakthrough. But you're still here. You're still breathing. You're still seeking. That's not coincidence. That's confirmation. If you're in the dark tetrad right now, write down today's date. Somewhere you'll see it, because 2 years from now, you'll look back and realize this wasn't your ending. This was your beginning. Sign number 2. You can't stand fake people. You walk into a room and immediately sense when something's wrong. Someone smiles at you, says all the right words, but your stomach knots up, your chest tightens, and here's what happens. You ignore it, because you've been taught that feelings aren't facts. Michael, a 47-year-old man from Texas, worked in corporate America for 15 years. He told me every meeting felt like torture, not because of the work, but because everyone was pretending to care about the mission, pretending to like each other. I felt like I was suffocating in a room full of masks. Michael walked away from a $150,000 a year job with no backup plan. His wife almost left him. 5 years later, he runs a nonprofit serving over 10,000 men struggling with mental health. Here's why this happens. Chosen ones have heightened discernment, a spiritual allergic reaction to anything that isn't authentic. You're being prepared to carry truth into a world drowning in lies, so your system physically rejects deception. The prophets in Scripture? Jeremiah was thrown into a pit. John the Baptist was beheaded. Truth tellers always suffer first. The trap? Some chosen ones become so wounded they isolate completely. They think, everyone's fake, so I'll just be alone. That's not the answer. You're not called to be alone forever. You're called to find your tribe, and they're searching for you too. Stop apologizing for your ability to see through people. Your discernment is protecting you from wasting years on the wrong people, so you're available when the right ones arrive. Sign number 3. Animals, children, and broken people are drawn to you. Have you ever been walking down the street when a dog suddenly pulls away from its owner and comes straight to you? Or a baby stares at you intensely in the grocery store? Or that one person everyone calls difficult always finds you in a crowded room? Jennifer, a 39-year-old social worker from Atlanta, told me, for years, this kept happening. Babies would stare at me, like intensely stare. Stray dogs would follow me home. The clients everyone else avoided, they'd open up to me within minutes. Her therapist said something profound. Jennifer, they sense something in you, a safety, a light. People and animals who are vulnerable operate on instinct, and they can feel that you're a safe place. Here's the spiritual truth. You emit a frequency. Children who haven't been programmed by society, animals who live by instinct, and people who've been so broken they can't wear masks anymore. They pick up on that frequency instantly. Remember Jesus? Children ran to him. The outcasts sought him out because they felt safe. Meanwhile, the religious leaders hated him. That's always the pattern. The mistake people make. They get weirded out and start avoiding these encounters. Wrong move. These aren't interruptions. They're divine appointments. God is sending people to you before you even know your full mission, showing you who you're called to serve. Pay attention to who's drawn to you. They're clues to your calling. Sign number 4. You have prophetic dreams you can't explain. Dreams so vivid that when you wake up, you need a minute to remember where you are. And sometimes, not always, you dream something, and then it happens exactly as you saw it. David, a 61-year-old retired veteran from North Carolina, dreamed every night for 3 months about a red pickup truck T-boning a white sedan at a specific intersection. One morning, approaching that exact intersection, he saw the red truck speeding behind him in his rearview mirror. Something made him slam his brakes. The truck blew through the red light and T-boned a white sedan, exactly where David would have been. He wrote to me, "That dream saved my life. But who showed me that dream? Why was I given that information?" Here's why. Chosen ones operate on multiple dimensions. Your spirit is being trained to receive information beyond what your five physical senses can detect. Joseph in the Bible dreamed about sheaves of wheat bowing down. Everyone thought he was arrogant, but those dreams were prophecies that saved Egypt from famine. The mistake? People dismiss dreams as just imagination. Wrong. Your dreams aren't random. They're downloads. Start a dream journal tonight. The moment you wake up, write down everything. Patterns will emerge. Those patterns are your roadmap. Sign number 5. You've always felt different, and not in a good way. You feel like you were born in the wrong era. Your family doesn't get you. Your interests are too deep for people around you. You feel like an alien studying humans. Patricia, 58, from Iowa, spent 30 years trying to fit into a picture-perfect Midwestern life. She told me, I felt like I was acting in a play. I'd be at church potlucks smiling and talking about recipes, but inside, I was screaming. I wanted to talk about purpose, about the real God, not the safe Sunday school version. At 54, after her last child left home, something broke open. She started painting abstract art about spiritual warfare. Her work is now in 3 galleries, and she leads workshops on art as prayer. She said, crying, I wasted 30 years trying to fit in. Now I know I was never supposed to fit in. Here's why. Hebrews 11:13 says the heroes of faith were foreigners and strangers on earth. That lonely feeling isn't a defect. It's confirmation. Your soul has a different assignment, the danger. Some people cope by rebelling. Drugs, alcohol, destructive relationships. Others become people pleasers, slowly dying inside. Both are traps. Your difference is your superpower. The moment you stop trying to be like everyone else and lean into what makes you different, that's when your real life begins. Sign number 6. You've lost everything and survived. I'm talking about the kind of loss where you thought, I will not survive this, but somehow you did. Thomas, 44, from California, lost his business. His wife left him for his best friend. He lost custody of his kids and was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer, all in 8 months. Standing on a bridge one night, ready to jump, he heard a voice say, Not yet. Your work isn't finished. Today he's cancer-free and runs a suicide prevention hotline that saved over 200 lives. He uses his story to save others. Here's why this happens. You can't comfort someone through hell if you've never been there yourself. Paul the Apostle called it the fellowship of suffering. You're being credentialed. Every scar is a badge that says, I survived, and so can you. The mistake? Staying in victim mentality. Letting your pain define you instead of refine you. Your worst day will become your ministry. The thing that almost killed you? That's your message, but only if you choose to turn your pain into purpose. Sign number 7. You can't ignore injustice. Does it make you physically ill when you see a child being mistreated, someone being falsely accused, corruption going unpunished, and you can't just let it go? You have to do something? Angela, 53, from Detroit, was a nurse who witnessed a doctor falsify records to cover up a medication error. Everyone told her, don't report it. You'll lose your job. But she couldn't sleep. She reported it. She lost her job, was blacklisted from 3 hospitals. But that doctor lost his license, and 14 other patients came forward. Angela told me, I lost my career, but I saved lives. I'd do it again. Here's why. Chosen ones carry a justice anointing. You're wired to fight for those who can't fight for themselves. Moses saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew slave and killed the Egyptian. Was it wise? No. But it revealed his calling. Deliverer. The mistake. Fighting every single battle and burning out. You can't save everyone. You have to choose your battles wisely. Your rage at injustice? That's God's heart in you. But you need wisdom to know which fights are yours. Now here's the part that's going to mess with your head. You just resonated with 5, 6, maybe all 7 of these signs. And you're thinking, okay, so I'm chosen. Great. So why do I still feel so powerless? Why hasn't anything changed? Here's the twist nobody prepared you for. Every sign I just described, most people see as proof they're broken, proof they're cursed. But what if these 7 signs are actually the opposite? What if they're not proof you're cursed, but proof you're equipped? Because knowing you're chosen is one thing, but activating your weapons, that changes everything. And that's exactly what we're diving into next. But first, comment the number of the sign that hit you the hardest. Just the number. Because when you declare it, something shifts in the spiritual realm. I've seen it happen hundreds of times. Now let's talk about the 3 weapons you already have, but nobody taught you how to use. Number 2. The 3 weapons you already have, but nobody taught you how to use them. So you're chosen. You've been through hell. You have the signs. But now what? Because here's the problem. Knowing you're chosen and walking in your calling are 2 completely different things. It's like owning a Ferrari, but never learning to drive. The power is there. But if you don't know how to access it, you're still stuck. So let me tell you about the 3 weapons. These aren't metaphors. These are real spiritual tools that every chosen one has access to. But 95% of people never activate them. And here's the kicker. The enemy knows about these weapons. That's why he works overtime to keep you distracted, exhausted, and doubting. Because the moment you activate these, you become unstoppable. Let's break them down. Weapon number 1, the shield of discernment. Forget the mystical stuff for a second. Discernment is simply this: the ability to sense truth versus lie, good versus evil, safe versus dangerous. You already have this. You've always had it. But you were taught to ignore it. How many times have you met someone and thought, something's off? But you overrode that feeling because they seemed nice? And later, you found out they were lying, stealing, or manipulating. That something's off feeling? That's your shield. That's discernment trying to protect you. Let me tell you about Karen. She's 41 years old, from Boston. She interviewed for a VP position at a tech startup. The salary was $200,000, double what she was making. The CEO was charismatic, praised her resume, made big promises about stock options and company growth. But during the interview, Karen felt nauseous. She couldn't explain it. Everything looked perfect on paper. Beautiful office, impressive team, amazing opportunity. But her gut screamed, "Don't take this job." She ignored her gut. She took the job. Within 3 months, she discovered the company was being investigated for fraud. The CEO was embezzling. Employees hadn't been paid in 6 weeks. The company collapsed. Karen was unemployed, with a gap on her resume that made her untouchable in the industry for 2 years. She told me, tears streaming down her face. I knew. My spirit knew on day 1. But I didn't trust it. I trusted the money instead, and it cost me everything. Here's how to activate your shield. Step 1. Pay attention to your body. Your body never lies. Your mind can rationalize. Your emotions can be manipulated. But your body, it tells the truth. A knot in your stomach? That's a warning. Tightness in your chest? That's danger. Sudden exhaustion around certain people. That's an energy vampire. Instant headache in certain places. That's spiritual oppression. Start tracking this. When you meet someone new, check in with your body. What's it telling you? Don't dismiss it. Don't override it. Listen. Step 2. Test everything against peace. Colossians 3:15 says, "Let the peace of God be your umpire." An umpire decides safe or out, in or out. If a decision removes your peace, even if it makes logical sense, don't do it. If a relationship drains your peace, even if they're nice, leave. I know what you're thinking. But that sounds selfish. What if I hurt their feelings? Listen to me carefully. Protecting your peace isn't selfish. It's survival. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't help anyone if you're destroyed. Step 3. Ask God directly and wait for an answer. This is the part people skip. They ask God, "Should I do this?" And then they immediately make a decision without waiting for his response. Here's what I do. I ask the question out loud. Then I wait. 24 hours, sometimes 3 days. And I pay attention to what thoughts keep coming back, what dreams I have, what coincidences occur, and whether I feel peace or unrest. God will answer, but you have to create space to hear him. Here's the mistake people make with discernment. They confuse it with judgment. Discernment says, this person is not safe for me right now. That's wisdom. Judgment says, this person is a bad person and I'm better than them. That's pride. See the difference? Discernment protects. Judgment destroys. When Karen finally learned to trust her discernment, she turned down 4 job offers that looked perfect on paper. Her friends thought she was insane. "You're being too picky," they said. "You need to just take something." Then the 5th opportunity came. A smaller company, less money. But the moment she walked in for the interview, she felt peace. Deep, unexplainable peace. She took it. Within 18 months, that company was acquired by Google. Her stock options made her $1.2 million. She said to me, "Trusting my gut made me a millionaire. Ignoring it almost destroyed me." Your shield isn't just protection, it's guidance. Use it. Weapon number 2, the sword of your voice. Your voice, your literal words, carry creative power. Not because you're magic, but because you're made in the image of God. And God spoke the world into existence. Let there be light, and there was light. Your voice works the same way. What you speak, you create. But here's the problem. Most people use their sword to destroy themselves. "I'm so stupid. I'll never get ahead. I'm always broke. Nobody loves me." Every time you say these things, you're creating that reality. You're using your weapon against yourself. Let me tell you about Robert. He's 67 years old from Florida. He was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. The doctors gave him 6 months to live. His family started planning his funeral. His kids flew in to say goodbye. But Robert did something that everyone thought was crazy. Every single morning, he stood in front of his bathroom mirror and said out loud, "Cancer, you have no authority in my body. I speak life. I speak healing. I will not die. I have work to finish." His wife thought he was in denial. His doctor suggested therapy for acceptance. But Robert kept speaking. Every single day for 9 months straight. When he went back for his scans, the tumors had shrunk by 70%. The doctors had no medical explanation. They called it spontaneous remission. Robert called it, "I spoke life until death gave up." He's still alive today, 4 years later. Here's how to activate your sword. Step 1. Stop cursing yourself. For the next 7 days, pay attention to every negative thing you say about yourself. Every "I'm so dumb," every "I can't afford this," every "nobody wants me." Count them. You'll be shocked. Then every time you catch yourself, reverse it out loud. "I'm so dumb" becomes "I'm learning and growing every day." "I can't afford this" becomes "money flows to me easily." "Nobody wants me" becomes "I am deeply loved and valued." It will feel weird at first. Your brain will resist. Do it anyway. Step 2. Speak to your situations, not about them, to them. Whatever you're facing right now, financial crisis, health issue, broken relationship, speak to it directly. Debt, you will be broken. Supernatural provision is coming. Sickness, you must leave. My body is a temple of God. Depression, you have no hold on me. Joy is my strength. Do this out loud. In your car, in the shower, while you're walking. Sound crazy? Jesus spoke to a fig tree, and it died. He spoke to a storm, and it stopped. He spoke to dead people, and they came back to life. Your voice has that same power. Step 3. Declare your future. Every morning, before you check your phone, speak your future into existence. This is the year of my breakthrough. Doors are opening that no man can shut. I am walking in divine favor. My gifts are making room for me. You're not manifesting. You're agreeing with what God already said about you. You're activating it with your voice. Here's the mistake: passive language. Most people say, "I hope things get better. Maybe it'll work out. We'll see." That's weak. That's not a sword. That's a feather. Instead, things are getting better. It will work out. I will see victory. Certainty activates faith. Faith moves mountains. I started doing this 12 years ago. I was $80,000 in debt, working 3 jobs, sleeping in my car some nights. Every morning, I said, "I am debt-free. I help millions of people. I live in abundance." People thought I was delusional. Today, I'm completely debt-free. This channel reaches millions. I own my home outright. Did my words magically make money appear? No. But my words changed my mindset. My mindset changed my actions. My actions changed my results. Your voice is a weapon. Use it. Weapon number 3. The armor of your story. Your story, everything you've survived, is armor. It protects you from shame, fear, and lies. And it's a weapon that defeats the enemy. Revelation 12:11 says, "They overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony." Your testimony is your weapon, but only if you share it. Let me tell you about Linda. She's 59 years old, from Pennsylvania. Her husband of 30 years had an affair with her sister. Her sister. The betrayal didn't just break her heart, it shattered her entire sense of reality. She didn't leave her house for 6 months. She was suicidal. But then a friend invited her to a women's support group at church. Linda didn't want to go. She felt too ashamed, too broken. But her friend was persistent. At the meeting, the leader asked, "Does anyone want to share their story?" Linda's hands were shaking. Her heart was pounding, but something inside her said, "Speak." She stood up, and she told the truth. The affair, the betrayal, the shame, the suicidal thoughts, all of it. When she finished, 4 women surrounded her, crying. They said, "Me too. I thought I was the only one. I thought I was crazy for feeling this way." That night, Linda realized something that changed her life. My pain has purpose. My story can heal others. She now leads that support group. Over 300 women have come through it in 5 years. Women who were on the edge, ready to give up, found hope because Linda was brave enough to share her story. Here's how to activate your armor. Step 1. Write your story down. Not for anyone else yet, just for you. Write about what broke you, how you survived, what you learned, and who you're becoming. This process is healing. It takes your pain out of the shadows and into the light. Step 2. Share it with one person. You don't need to post it on social media. Start small. Tell one trusted friend. Watch what happens. They'll say, "I've been through something similar. I thought I was alone." That's the power of testimony. It breaks isolation. Step 3. Let God use it. Pray this: God, use my story to help someone else. Bring the right person across my path. And then pay attention. Someone will randomly open up to you. That's your cue. Share your story. Watch them transform. Here's the mistake: hiding your story out of shame. The enemy wants you to bury it, because as long as it's hidden, it has no power. But the moment you speak it, it becomes a weapon that destroys shame in you and in others. Your story will save someone's life. I'm not being dramatic. A man will hear your story and not pull the trigger. A woman will hear your story and leave her abuser. A kid will hear your story and choose rehab instead of another hit. Your pain was not wasted. It was preparation for your mission. So let me ask you, are you going to use your weapons, or are you going to keep living like you're powerless? Because you're not powerless. You never were. You have discernment to protect you. You have a voice to create your future. And you have a story to heal others. The only question is, will you activate them? Comment 999 if you're ready to step into everything God has called you to be. And listen, this is just the beginning. In the next message, I'm going to show you exactly how to discover your specific mission. Because it's one thing to know you're chosen. It's another thing entirely to know what you were chosen for. But for right now, I want you to do something. Pick one weapon, just one, and commit to activating it this week. Will it be your discernment, your voice, your story? Choose one and watch what God does. You're chosen. Now it's time to walk like it. I'll see you in the next one.